Thank you for participating in the Bureau of Elections webinar for the new Michigan Transparency Network's campaign finance platform. My name is Irene and I will be your presenter. Before we begin, I would like to go over some housekeeping items first. During the presentation today, all attendees' mics will be muted. However, we will have a question and answer period, which we will go over at the end of the training. This document will also be attached to the training and posted on our website. We encourage you to submit your questions in the chat at any time during the presentation. Please note, we will try to answer as many questions as possible submitted through the chat. If for some reason we are not able to address every question, or if your question is so unique to your specific circumstances, please email us at mdos-campaignfinance@michigan.gov. If you see that your question has already been asked in the chat, feel free to add a like to the question to help us know which questions are impacting a broader group of participants. Lastly, this webinar is being recorded and will be put on our website so you can review it at your own pace later, or for those who could not attend the training today. We're excited to present to you the Michigan Transparency Network, also known as MiTN, which is a one-stop platform for Michigan residents and the regulated community to find, prepare, submit filings, and disclosure reports from public officers, lobbyists, candidates, and all other committee types registered at the state level. The system has multiple modules: campaign finance disclosure, personal financial disclosure, casino registration, legal defense funds. Please know that today's webinar will focus specifically on campaign finance related functions to the new MiTN system. This training is not intended for an exhaustive training on the Michigan Campaign Finance Act or on the campaign finance rules in general. A similar training will be held at a later date. We are going to cover a lot of ground today, and the topics will include how to set up and navigate to MiLogin to access MiTN, and then how to add MiTN to your MiLogin dashboard. We will then walk you through how to use the MiTN campaign finance platform to create a new committee, request access to the committee. We'll show you how to enter transactions onto your campaign finance statements, and finally how to view, submit, and amend your filings. Then we will wrap up with some questions and answers. So with that, let's get started. Please also be aware that MiLogin is a statewide platform through DTMB and is not a product of or part of the Bureau of Elections' new MiTN platform. MiLogin has its own help desk lines if you need specific guidance. We've provided the number to their help desk on our online MiTN campaign finance manual and on the campaign finance homepage. The citizen portal is used for individuals working with a committee. MiLogin for Business is used for businesses who provide campaign finance filings services who have employees that may need to utilize an MiLogin for Business. This system is best for firms filing on behalf of multiple committees. Most individuals will likely want to choose the MiLogin for Citizen option since they may already have it set up for renewing their driver's license online or renewing their plate tabs. This will be the best option for the majority of people who will not need to set up anything new and will not have to worry about potentially having two different accounts or platforms to keep track of. If you are a business or organization, you will need to use the MiLogin for Business platform to begin. There might be some specific scenarios where an individual who is a Michigan citizen might choose for their own personal reasons to use MiLogin Business to access MiTN instead of MiLogin Citizen. The system will allow you to set up an MiLogin for Business, but if you do, and this is also if you have an MiLogin Citizen account, you'll need to understand that you cannot go back and forth between the portals to access MiTN. MiTN will see you as a different entity with each portal. We strongly recommend that individuals in Michigan use the MiLogin Citizen portal to avoid potential confusion. Okay, So now that you know which MiLogin platform you're going to use, let's access MiTN. This is the MiLogin dashboard screen you will see once you have created your MiLogin account and you are signed in with your username and password. If you've previously used MiLogin to access other state services, you might see some application links are already populated on the left side of the dashboard. But it could also be completely blank on the left, showing only Discover Online Services to the right if you've just created your MiLogin account. The first time a MiTN filer visits the MiLogin home screen, they will need to place a link to MiTN on this MiLogin dashboard. As mentioned previously, the steps to add the MiTN link are the same, whether you are using MiLogin for Citizens or for Business. Begin by clicking on Find Services to the right. On the screen, there are two ways to search for the MiTN applications. First, you can use a Search for Services box, or you can begin by typing Michigan Transparency Network until you see it appear below the box, and then select the name from the drop-down list. The other way to search is scrolling down the screen under Filter by Department. You may have to scroll a bit to find it, but once located, check the box Michigan Secretary. You should now see on the right side the list of all online services available by the Department of State. Locate and click on the Michigan Transparency Network, MiTN. Read and agree to the terms and conditions, and then click Request Service. You'll be instructed to complete the two-factor authorization step to verify your MiLogin credentials, which will be based on whatever method of authorization you set up when you created your MiLogin account. Continue with verifying your authorization. You will only see this page when you are connecting to MiTN for the first time with your MiLogin dashboard. Although the message makes it seem like you will need to wait for an email to arrive before you can move on, an email is already sent once you have clicked the Continue button. Now you can finish the one remaining step that will get you into MiTN. Click Continue. The system has automatically brought you back to your MiLogin dashboard. Notice how now when you look at the left side of your dashboard, you can see the Michigan Transparency Network. That link is now permanently anchored. You will need to log back into MiTN. Click MiTN to proceed. MiLogin will always make you agree to the terms and conditions each time you are on the platform. You'll also need to provide your two-factor authentication for security purposes. Check the I agree box, click Launch Service, and provide your two-factor authentication. This is your sign-on screen. The sign-on step is one of the last steps needed to complete the setup. Click Sign On to continue. Welcome. You are now inside the MiTN platform. From now on, the MiTN link will always be visible on your MiLogin dashboard page, and you'll only need to click on the MiTN link to log in, as it will take you straight to the MiTN homepage. If you are also a lobbyist or lobbyist agent, you may see both the lobby and campaign finance modules. Be sure to select campaign finance to continue creating your new committee. Let's get started. Click Committee. This is your MiTN Campaign Finance landing page. It will provide you a list of every committee that you were associated with. There are two functions on the screen. The home screen is used to redirect you back to the MiTN dashboard. This will allow you to either leave the campaign finance module completely, or it can be helpful if you are an individual who handles other modules such as lobby or personal financial disclosure. The other is Request Access / Create New Committee. Here's where you will create a new committee or request access to an existing committee you were associated with. Let's get started with creating a new committee and filling out your statement of organization. Your first question is, has the statement of organization for your committee been previously submitted? This is just confirming your committee has already been created and on file with the Bureau of Elections. Since we know that we are creating a new committee, select No, then Save and Next to continue. The next question will also ask if you have received any notification from the Bureau of Elections that a committee has been created on your behalf as a non-registered committee. For example, a candidate that has filed their affidavit of identity before filing their statement of organization, or a non-candidate committee that has met the requirements found in Section 3 of the Michigan Campaign Finance Act. For training purposes, we are going to continue with selecting No as we are creating a new committee. Then click Save and Next to continue. Select the type of committee you are registering. For example, a candidate running for a state elected office will select Candidate. An independent political PAC committee will select Independent if they have or will meet independent status, and so on. Click Save and Next to continue. Next, enter the required information. A candidate committee will enter their committee information as well as the first and last name of the candidate. Be sure to select the county of residence, party affiliation, the office sought, and the district number if applicable. Enter the date the committee was formed and has met definition of becoming a committee according to the Michigan Campaign Finance Act. If the committee does not expect to spend or receive more than $1,000 in an election year or calendar year for non-candidate committees and would like to request a reporting waiver, select Yes. Select Yes if the committee is expected to file electronically voluntarily or is required based on the statute. After all the required information is entered, click Save and Next to continue. Please note, clicking the Exit button will exit you out of the wizard and not retain your entries. You will need to start from the beginning. This next screen is requesting the committee's contact information, such as the committee's mailing address, street address, treasurer and record keeper, and the official depository. Please note, all required fields must be entered to continue. Click Save and Next to continue. After you've entered the committee information in the required field, you must click Save Address to save your entry. Then click Save and Next to move on to entering the next address. Now enter the committee street address information and then click Save Address. Then Save and Next to continue. As each entry is saved, you will see your previous entry at the top of the screen. If you notice an error in the previously entered addresses, there is an Edit button to make changes as needed. Now that we've entered the committee mailing address and the committee street address, we can add the treasurer's name and address information. Select Treasurer Mailing Address from the drop-down menu and continue with entering in the required information. Click Save Address to continue. The last mandatory record to enter before moving forward is the official depository. Enter the name and address information for the financial institution the committee will be using. After you've completed all the required information, click Save Address. Then click Save and Next to continue. You will receive a message asking if you are sure you want to leave the page. Click OK to continue. Now that you've entered the required contact information, it's time to select your user role type. There are two role types in MiTN. You can be an official committee member, such as treasurer, record keeper, or the candidate of a candidate committee, or the role as a committee data entry person. Both roles have different permissions. An official committee member will have the ability to enter data as well as submit the statements. A committee data entry person will only be allowed to enter data and will not have the ability to submit statements. After making your selection, click Save and Next to proceed. Depending on your selection and choosing the role that matches the relationship as it is reflected on the Statement of Organization, additional information may be required. If you are an official committee member, Please enter your address information. The phone number is not required. Notice the email address is automatically populated to match the email used in MiLogin. This is a safeguard protection feature. No one else will be allowed to use this unless they have logged into MiLogin with your email and address information. This is also a good example of why it's important that all users in MiTN always log into the system using their own MiLogin account. This new MiTN system doesn't allow for users to log in using a shared email or password. If your role type is a committee data entry person, you will not have to add your address information. Select Save and Next to proceed or Submit based on your selection. Now we are ready to produce the statement of organization for your new committee. Click Generate SFO. A new browser tab will appear displaying your statement of organization. Review for accuracy. Download and save the document. Next, print and sign. Signatures are required if you are an official committee member, such as the candidate, treasurer, or record keeper. A copy with the signatures must be sent to the Bureau of Elections. However, if you are mailing the statement of organization with the signatures, a copy of the generated statement of organization must still be uploaded to complete the submission. Close the tab with the statement of organization and return back to MiTN. Next, attach the statement of organization in the document upload field with or without the signatures if you are going to mail it in. Check the box to certify that the information you have entered is truthful and accurate. Then click Submit. Bureau of Elections staff will review the newly filed statement of organization. After clicking Submit, you will be redirected to the MiTN dashboard. You will see in the example, the committee will be in a pending review status. Once the analysts review the committee, they will be switched to an active status. Now, after the committee has been reviewed by the analyst and the committee status has been changed to active, you must now request access to your committee and assign your role. Although you may see the committee listed in active status, you will still need to request access to the committee. Click Request Access / Create New Committee. The first question is, has the statement of organization for your committee been previously submitted? Again, this is just confirming that your committee has already been created and on file with the Bureau of Elections. This is the same question received when you were creating your committee for the first time. Since we are seeking access to your new existing committee, select Yes from the drop-down menu. Select Save and Next to proceed. Start by entering at least the first 3 characters of the committee's name or candidate's name in the search field. Common names will appear in the search results. If your initial typing yields too many results, such as Smith, enter additional letters to narrow your results. The committee lookup will populate the name of the committees matching your entry. When you have found your committee's name, select the name record from the drop-down list. Then click Save and Next to proceed. This next screen allows you to assign your role type for the committee. As mentioned earlier, there are 2 role types in MiTN. You can be an official committee member, such as the treasurer, record keeper, or the candidate of a candidate committee, or a committee data entry person. Again, both roles have different permissions. An official committee member will have the ability to enter data as well as submit the statements, whereas a committee data entry person will only be allowed to enter data and will not have the ability to submit statements. After making your selection, select Save and Next to proceed. Reminder, depending on your selection and choosing the role that matches the relationship as it is reflected on the current statement of organization, additional information may be required. If you are an official committee member, please enter your address information. The phone number is not a required field. If your role type is committee data entry person, you will not have to add your address information. Click Submit if you are committee data entry, or Save and Next if your role is an official committee member. Once you click on Generate as a Vote, a new browser tab will appear displaying your statement of organization. Review for accuracy, download and save the document. Next, print and sign if a signature is required. If you are an official committee member, such as the treasurer or record keeper, and there are no changes to the existing statement of organization, a signed copy does not need to be sent to the Bureau of Elections. However, the generated statement of organization must still be uploaded to complete the submission. Some changes may require a signature, such as new treasurer or record keeper. Close the tabs with the statement of organization and return back to MiTN. Next, attach the statement of organization in the document upload field. Check the box to certify that you have completed the request for access to the committee and the information you have entered is truthful and accurate. Then click Submit to send the request for access. Bureau election staff will review the request. Once we verify the requested roles align with the statement of organization, we will approve or deny the request accordingly. Staff are reviewing the request daily. Committees, however, will have the ability to approve those assigned as committee data entry. Once the statement of organization has been changed to active by the analyst and access has been granted, you will see the name of the committee in the My Committee screen. After access has been granted, you can start entering your financial activity. Click your committee name to continue. Now that access has been granted, you will be presented with a view of your committee's information as well as additional tabs at the top of the screen. If you do not see the tabs as shown, this means you have not been granted access at this time. Each tab has their specific roles. The Address tab will show the information entered when setting up your committee, such as the committee mailing address, street address, treasurer, record keeper, and official depository. The Amend as a Vote tab will show you the amended statement of organization submitted by your committee, as well as allow you to amend your statement of organization if necessary. The Contacts tab is used to enter all committee contact information. This will include contributors, vendors, financial institutions, etc. The Campaigns tab will allow you to create candidate campaigns and ballot proposal campaigns. The Fundraiser will allow you to list the fundraising events held by your committee. The Filing tab is where you will create a new statement as well as show all other statements created or submitted by the committee. The Notifications tab will display any notifications communicated with the Bureau of Elections. Fees will show fees owed by the committee. A future enhancement will allow committees to now pay their late fees online. The All Transactions tab will allow the committee to search for specific transactions. The Summary Preview tab will preview the summary of the committee's financial activity. And lastly, the Access tab will show what users are requesting access to the committee, such as the committee data entry person and treasurer or record keeper. Before we create our statement, let's add our first contact. As mentioned, the Contacts tab is used to enter all committee contact information. This will include contributors, vendors, campaigns, financial institutions. There are 4 main contact types in MiTN: state-level committees, other organizations, individuals, and anonymous. State-level committees are all committees required to register with the Bureau of Elections. Other organizations are vendors, financial institution, county and local committees, corporations, and domestic dependent sovereigns. Individuals are candidates and individual contributors. Anonymous. Although it is prohibited to receive anonymous contributions, if a contribution was received and the individual's information is not provided, the committee must still report the anonymous contribution received and donate to a tax-exempt charitable organization. Please see Section 41 of the Michigan Campaign Finance Act on additional information on anonymous contributions. In the Contacts field, please enter all the required information and click Save to continue. Next, let's create a campaign in the Campaigns tab that can be used to report contributions or expenditures to other committees. There are two different types of campaigns. Candidates that are state, county, and local. Ballot questions that are also state, county, and local level. Enter all the required information and click Save to continue. Next, create a fundraiser from the Fundraisers tab. This is required for fundraising events held by your committee. If your committee holds a fundraising event, please enter all the required information and click Save to continue. Creating the contacts campaigns and fundraisers ahead of time will be helpful as the information will be accessible as you're entering in your transactions. Now let's get started on creating our first statement. Click the Filing tab, then click New Filing. In this next screen, you will add the statement information. In the document type, there are three options. You can create a new campaign statement, such as an annual, July, April, October, or even a dissolution campaign statement. A correspondence in is used if you need to submit documentation for clarification or any correspondence to the Bureau of Elections that is not on a campaign statement. You can also submit immediate disclosure reports, such as the 24-hour late contribution and expenditure reports, the 48-hour late contribution reports, and the special election independent reports. But for now, let's select Campaign Statement as the document. As you can see, I've started with the 2025 July statement, as that will be the next statement due for candidate committees. Independent political PAC committees will owe an April statement. Enter the statement year and the start date of the coverage period. Select Save and Next to proceed. As we're going through the steps of creating our new filing, you will see the timeline at the top of your screen. This will help give you a visual for the next steps. Verify the statement information you have entered is correct and select Save and Next to continue. You will see there is an importing feature. The importing layout instructions for MiTN are available on our website. Select Save and Next to proceed. The first transaction type on our little roadmap is receipts. This includes all incoming transactions from direct contributions, other receipts, loans, and in-kind contributions. To start entering receipts, select Add Receipts. This is a receipt entry window. Here's where you will identify the type of receipt, add a contact record, and enter the date and amount of the receipt. If a contact record is already created, you can search your list by typing in the name in the name field. Then select the results from the contact record. If this is a new contact, click Create Contact to create a new record. Be sure to enter all required fields. Select Save to proceed. Clicking Exit will not save your entry. The receipt category will display a list of incoming receipts in the MiTN system. Definitions on specific receipt types can be found in the committee manuals on our website. For training purposes, we are going to enter a direct contribution. Now that we have the name selected, let's continue with entering in the rest of the required information. Choose the date the contribution was received, and please note, the date of the contribution must be within the same coverage of the statement that you are working on. After selecting the date of the contribution, enter the amount and the description. Select Save and Next to proceed. We've created our first direct contribution. After saving your entry, you will return to your list of receipts. As you continue to enter your receipts, you will see them all listed on this screen. To enter additional receipts, click on Add Receipts and continue. But before we move on to expenses, let's create a loan. Click Add Receipts. Now select Direct Contributions Loan from the drop-down menu. An example of a loan could be a candidate loaning money to their committee with the intentions of being reimbursed. Enter the contact name in the search box or create a new contact record. After selecting the contact name from the search box, next enter the required information such as the date, amount, and description of the loan. Select Save and Next to save your entry and continue. Once saved properly, the loan will be added to your receipt list. Just like in MERTS, the loan will appear on the Debts and Obligations screen until the debt has been paid in full or forgiven, if applicable. Now let's take a look at how we enter an expenditure. Click Expenses on the timeline at the top of the screen. Now click Add Expenses. The expense window will look pretty similar to the receipt window. It will have a section for the type of expenditure, name, date, amount, and the description. Let's create a direct expenditure by selecting the Expense Category drop-down menu. Click the search icon to search for an existing contact, or click Create Contact to create a new record. Enter the date, amount, and description of your expense. Please note, like in MERTS, the Type drop-down menu is not a required field. However, the description is a required field explaining the expenditure. All required fields must be entered to continue. Select Save and Next to proceed. Just like the receipt screen, you will see a list of all your expenses. Transactions can be modified by clicking on the transaction as long as the transactions have not been submitted. So now we've entered a direct contribution, a direct loan, and a direct expenditure. Now let's enter in a loan payment to our existing loan. In the expense section, let's add a new expense by clicking Add Expense. Select Direct Expenditures Debt/Loan Repayment from the expense category to start applying your payment. Then select the specific loan to record the payment. Indicate whether you will be making a payment to the loan or forgiving the loan by selecting Yes or No in the drop-down menu. Since we are making a partial payment to the loan, we will select No. Continue entering the additional required information, such as date, amount, and description. The Type section has a list of different expenditures. Again, this is not a required field. The description field is a required field. Select Save to retain your entry and apply the payment. You should now see the expenditure on your list of expenses showing the loan payment. Now that you've entered all of your activity for this reporting period, we are closer to submitting our statement. Before you submit your statement, be sure to go through your timeline of entries and verify all records have been entered. After you have reviewed your entries, click Exit to exit the wizard and go back to the committee's dashboard. Don't forget to take a quick peek at your summary preview to verify the activity for this reporting period. Please note, although the summary page is a bit different than MERTS, we are dedicated to improving the readability in the future. After you have double-checked and triple-checked your entries, now you can finally submit your statement. Click the Filing tab, then select the statement you wish to submit. You will notice the date received and status will let you know if the statement is still in draft or if it has been submitted. The last step before submitting your statement is looking at the summary of the statement you are filing. Here is where you will verify again the correct statement type, coverage period, and indicate if you want to itemize your expenditures. If everything is accurate, check the box, I certify that all reasonable diligence was used in preparation of the above form. Then submit filing. A message will appear in the top left corner showing the status of the submission. Congratulations, you've submitted your filing statement. In the committee's dashboard, click Filing. You should see two tabs, Draft and Submitted. The Draft tab will show a list of statements that are still in draft and have not been submitted yet. The Submitted tab will show any and all statements that have been submitted by the committee. Lastly, if you receive correspondence from our office for clarification or additional information on your statement that requires an amendment, start by going to the Filing tab and click Submitted. Select the statement requiring an amendment. Click the Amend button on the left side of your screen. A message will appear asking if you are sure you want to amend your statement. Select Yes to continue. You will see the document type now indicates that this is an amended campaign statement. Select Save and Next to proceed. If, for example, you forgot to add a contribution, click the Receipt section of the timeline, then Add Receipts. Add your new receipt, then click Save to save your new entry. Your new entry will appear in your list of receipts. Be sure to review your new entry and follow the same steps used for filing your original statement. Click on the summary of the timeline and review the amended statement information. Check the certification box, then submit the filing. And now you've successfully submitted an amended statement. Answer the questions from today's training. As I'm trying to log into my personal account, I'm being told I already have an account with the same email. However, it doesn't list what that account is for me to merge them. How can I resolve? You will need to contact the MiLogin help desk for assistance, as we do not provide help for that platform. If your committee already exists, do you still need to put in all of the information? No, not unless any of the information has changed. If using an outside vendor, will the same process with MIRTS where files can be downloaded from the software and uploaded into MiTN? Yes, there is an import function to import contacts and transactions into MiTN. The quarterly statement used to be called quarterly for independent political PACs. It is now called campaign statements. Yes, these have always been campaign statements, but we are no longer referring to them as quarterlies. I just wanted to note that the committee manuals are not accessible on the state's website at this time. Some links still go to MIRTS instead of the PDF manuals. We are aware of the links being misdirected and they are being worked on. Is there a way to produce a PDF of the summary report as a whole before submitting? This is a feature we are currently working on. Will MiTN flag things that are outside of the scope of the particular report? Some common errors found in MIRTS validation reports have been replaced by making some of the items mandatory in MiTN. You will receive notification of excess contributions, expenditures, or if transactions are outside of the reporting period. How will 48-hour late reports be filed? 48-hour late contribution reports are created in the Filing tab by selecting Immediate Disclosure Reports. Will we receive confirmation emails once the report has been filed or accepted? Or will the only confirmation be on the MiTN website? No, there are two tabs within the Filing section in MiTN. The Submitted tab will identify what statements have been filed. You will not receive a separate email letting you know the filing has been submitted. Will those late reports also need to be reported in the regular reports as before? Yes, the late contribution reports will still need to be added to the appropriate statements. Are the past reports filed with MIRTS going to be accessible through the public-facing website of the MiTN system? Yes, previously filed statements using MIRTS will be in the committee records in MiTN. How long does it usually take to get the tab bar at the top once it says active? As soon as the analysts review the statement of organization and approve access, the tabs will become available. I hope you've enjoyed today's training. As with any new software or program, it can seem very overwhelming in the beginning. Rest assured we will be here with you every step of the way. Our analysts are available to assist you in learning the new program and successfully filing your statements. Please be patient as we have attempted to answer as many questions through the chat. If your question has not been answered, please feel free to send us an email at mdos-campaignfinance@michigan.gov, and we will respond as soon as possible. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact us via phone or email. Our manuals and other documentation can be found on our website. Thank you.